All right. Well, thank you everyone for joining. Welcome. This is another session of the Happy Melly Coffee, our regular gathering of Happy Melly members, where we discuss interesting questions that are posed by our members on our Trello board. Patrick will be able to share the link later on with this video, which will also be online after our recording. Patrick, thank you very much for organizing this. In the past, I did all the organization and logistics, etc. But thank God I am delegating. Yes, practicing what I preach, delegating to other people, and Patrick has done an amazing job learning Zoom and everything. Let's go and see the Trello board and the question in particular. I will read out the question. It's a question by Rolf, and Rolf has joined us. He is here. Rolf has asked how to inspire management teams to overcome silo thinking, to collaborate better among themselves and learn from each other's experiments. So first I'm going to ask Rolf, explain your question please, Rolf. A bit of a context, that will be nice.
Okay, so first thanks for voting for my question. And I would like to focus today's discussion more or less on the top management team or of the management team of a company, let's say board of directors, or maybe it might be a division of a company, let's say, for example, a CIO with his direct reports. And these guys normally act as sponsors for so-called, let's say, change programs. And from my point of view, it would be absolutely great if these guys who act as sponsors could also be a role model for the change they expect from others. So, for example, the common topic is our division should become more agile, or how do we change the mindset of our middle managers or the mindset of our workers, how to improve their collaboration or how to improve the learning from each other. So I'm always speaking about changing others, but not changing themselves. So, and that's the background for my question, that I say it would be a good kind of speeding up the whole process if they would act themselves as a role model. And that's the reason why I asked the question, how can we inspire this management team? And I gave the example to collaborate better among themselves, to be more or less a role model for this thing they expect from others.
Okay, it's a great question. Thank you, Rolf. And Rolf is calling in from Cologne in Germany, if I got that right. Okay. Perfect. So I recognize the situation, Rolf. Actually, I mean, I was in the company for 7 years, where a good amount of the time I was Chief Information Officer, and I introduced Scrum. It was in a large part of it was a success. People liked it. The developers liked it. Customers liked it. Most of them. Management turnover dropped to 0 after introducing it. So things were going better. But I had to defend things on the management board. I had to protect my turf. Indeed, my silo, as compared to other people participating in the management board who had their own turf, whether it was system administration or finance or marketing. I think we did a reasonable job, but I recognize what you say here. There was certainly silo thinking going on while I was trying to implement and guide the agile transformation in my department. Others were doing their thing. So good question. Let's see what people have to say about that. Please raise your hand and then unmute yourself if you have a contribution about this topic. Any insights to share, or maybe further clarification that you want. All right, Catherine, go ahead.
Actually, yeah, I need clarification because I'm not sure I understand why it's bad when we are moving in different directions, why everyone needs to move in the same direction. Why can't we just, because it's all about experimenting, why can't, like, we want to experiment in being agile, but if someone wants another kind of experiment, why not let them have this experiment and then compare results?
That's a great question. Thanks, Catherine. And Catherine is calling from the Ukraine, by the way, despite the confusing British poster behind her head. So why should we collaborate, Rolf? That's a critical question for you.
I think it's not about just one wants agile, the other one doesn't want agile. It's more a general mindset to collaborate, because that's one major thing which makes up agile, that people collaborate very closely together. And sometimes on board level, I don't experience that so much. There's this silo thinking stuff. And there is also, I think, not much learning. So if each one would do their experience and they would exchange afterwards and learn, that would be great. It's just the point that I must say it's not the normal situation on board level.
Okay, so I think I understand the different perspectives here. I agree with Catherine that we don't always need to agree on everything. That is what agility means in an agile context. People have their own perspectives. That is why we allow teams to self-organize and resolve those differences. We need that diversity of opinions, but ultimately it should lead to moving forward through consensus and collaboration. And that last part is, I think, often lacking at the management team level, where there's more competition between departments than real collaboration. So I understand Catherine's question, but I certainly understand where Rolf is coming from. Douwe, you're raising your hand. What's your...
Yes. What my experience is that this silo thinking is based on also reporting on that silo level. You have that management that is based on that the top level of that silo. And in most cases, the teams that needs to be collaborate together exist over all the silos together. So you are organizing teams over all those silos, and you have still to report on that silo level, where you have responsibilities to make this silo better. But that is not how it works. You need skills in a team to achieve a project or a product, or making a product or making features. And what I see, this is really something strange going on, that you still need to report based on that silo level. And what I'm experiencing is that the management of these silos should not exist anymore. You should more thinking about, okay, how can we collaborate the different skills together to make things?
Okay, that's interesting insight. Why would you say that they should not exist anymore? My question.
Because why should you report based on work that needs to be done for just one silo? Because when you make something, you have different skills that are now situated in this silo thinking. And yeah, I don't see the logical thing anymore when we make things together. You need those skills that are based now in different silos.
Okay, I sort of understand, but playing devil's advocate here, I know financial people who have no clue how to do marketing. I know marketeers who have absolutely no interest in anything that has to do with financials, etc., etc. So we have people who know a lot about their specific silo department, their line of work, and they like doing that. So I don't think we can get rid of such disciplines at the highest level. I think we need some better collaboration indeed, as Rolf said. But without representatives for marketing, for finance, for DevOps, etc., I don't think we could get anything done at the marketing. At the management team level. But I understand the rest of course, of your contribution in DAO. And DAO is calling from the Netherlands again, I assume, right?
Yeah, there's a little bit between the Netherlands and France and Germany.
Oh, okay.
It's now.
Then you're in Belgium.
And no, but it's yeah. Thanks to you, Jürgen. I'm also based in Germany now.
Okay, you're everywhere. All right.
Yeah, thank you. But now in the Netherlands. So.
Okay. So, Patrick.
Yeah, I hear what Dow is saying. And I hear what you're saying, no? And I don't think you can get rid of people that have an interest in a specific function. But there is a difference between doing and reporting. And if you would report horizontally, although the people might work vertically, then you might force more collaboration, because people might not be interested in finance, or a marketeer might not be interested in sales, or a sales guy is not so interested in how well the operations are organized behind them. But if they're all together responsible for the end result, then you might create automatic better collaboration. I always have to think back when I hear this kind of discussion on what I read about Gore, the company Gore in the US. They have little factories, and in every factory, all the disciplines are present. And if the factory goes beyond a certain scale, they just open a new one, which can be 2 kilometers away. But it's just to keep that horizontal responsibility within that one team. I think this is very powerful, but I don't know how you can, because they started to do that from scratch, you know? So it's difficult if you have a company of a certain size, to flip your whole company upside down to make something like that happen. So I think that would be an interesting challenge, by the way.
I agree, but I think that the problem, sorry for the sirens here, there's always sirens here in Belgium, no idea what they're doing, but they love ambulances here in Brussels. But I think no matter what you do, when you're scaling up, then you need some kind of division of labor, whether it is silos in the functional area or silos in the product area. It doesn't matter. At some point, you have to cut things up, and then you will have representatives of their specific divisions, units, circles, or whatever you want to call them. So silo thinking will always be there. People will always protect their own turf, no matter how you cut the system up in pieces. So the question then still remains: how are you going to get those representatives at the next higher level to collaborate together, instead of protecting their turf and advocating only for their own in their own interest? Catherine.
I just wonder, like, what works for me, but not on this level. But usually, I really like discussing values, and like, while you're discussing values, I think you can. You usually come across very painful moments, and when you discuss these painful moments, you can actually understand. So, what I would do, if this is applicable for like executives, I'm not sure, but actually get everyone together in one room and discuss our values, and maybe select 3 values which represent our company, is at least a starting point. And in like this can most likely lead to a lot of discussions and a lot of understanding that we are not the same and why we're not the same, but this is a starting point. The only problem for me with this approach is that usually, well, executives I know, they are not really, they sometimes are not open to just sitting together and discussing things, because they feel being busy with important things.
Yeah, I understand completely. I've seen that be too as well. Durgesh, what's your contribution?
Yeah, I do agree with some of the points of Catherine. You know, uh, so when we talk about upper management, the CXO's level, they are more centric towards the value. They want to see value first and then get into the experiment. So what I believe is we should always focus on towards if we are really looking for them to get together with us and start collaborating, we have to showcase the value first, and then we should expect some I would say, so that they can get some confidence on us as a team, and then they can collaborate and they can go with our decisions, and they can feel like yes, there are some values coming out of it. Unless they don't see the values, I feel like they will never collaborate with us, or they're never going to accept us. That's what I felt so far in my career. So from the value perspective, and that is why even I put it forward one of the question that was how we can showcase the value, because we talk more towards the human side of it, right? And we talk about human, the mindset and all those stuff. So that becomes very much difficult to bring in terms of a value, a quantitative value that matters a lot for the upper management. So that's what I can add on.
Okay, yeah, I agree wholeheartedly. I was thinking, what have you all seen that works at the team level for getting people to collaborate and work towards a joint purpose, instead of people protecting their own part of the work, like developers versus the testers versus the architect versus the project manager, etc. What works at the team level? Because then we can extrapolate to the higher levels, because it should be fractal problem. It's the same at all the levels. Douwe, first one to raise your hand.
Yeah. What I've seen so far, and I'm working now in the no software industry. Now I'm working in agile with agile teams that are working in engineering in mechatronics companies, and they need on certain time they need several skills to fix something, and in a lot of cases. We are talking about core teams, and we are talking about flying in specialists. And what you see is within the next iteration, they know already which skills they need, and they ask then the department that has that skills in them to join for a certain moment the team. So yeah, based on that, sometimes we have flying teams, flying in team members, but they still in that silo thought about, for example, we need a purchaser to purchase something, and normally, and that is what I'm seeing, is that normally when you have a purchase process, for example, you put your purchase to that purchase silo and the purchase department, but that is not going to work very fast. When you ask, okay, we need a purchaser in our team for a certain time. Can we hire this skill in our team to fix this for us? So it's not going to be on top of a list that he needs to purchase, but yes, we need a purchaser to do something for us. And then you hire people from that different silos. And I think that is working very well. And you still have this silo thought about, okay, we have still some figures and some things to do at silo level, but we can also pick some skills from every silo on certain time in the team, and that is working very well.
Okay, that sounds good. Anyone else has an idea? Patrick?
Well, I just to quickly pick in on that, how can you project that to a management team? Because I think that's the question that Rolf has. I think we all have good ideas about how to do that at a team level, but these kind of projects, I know I'm working in international projects for the past 12 years. They always tend to have a sponsor, and then the sponsor, if there is something that you touch from another executive's domain, you actually have to repeat the whole process to reach out to the guy, explain it to him, make him warm for it, and please connect with your colleague. The sponsor doesn't reach out automatically across the board to somebody else. How can we project that kind of working methods? Are very good ones. No, it's not push out to another silo. It is pull the silo into yours. Discuss the values, because indeed, if you start to discuss values, you can get very nice things on the table. Does that work at an executive level? Can we experiment with that?
What my experience is now is that at the company I'm now based on, we have 5 different teams with 5 projects, and all things that are cannot be solved by the teams themselves. We have this kind of impediment board that's visual on the wall. Some things that can be solved by the team itself, but some other items that needs to be solved by on management level. They need to make decisions about this. And what I've done, for example, is also make the management responsible to solve those things in the same period. So when you, as a management, not solving also on an iterative level, the teams are going to complain because the management is not doing anything. They see, okay, it's not solved yet, and it's not solved yet, and we don't trust the management anymore. That kind of things can happen. But when the management is really going to facilitate the teams what they need to become better, because that is the goal we need to have for the agile teams, to become better and better and better, and to be more productive and making things faster. Then when you put it on a certain thing, like, okay, let's experiment with this. Can we experiment with this? Then probably the management is saying, okay, let's try it. And if it's not working, then it's not working. And but you need a certain kind of trust from the management that that they can facilitate as well. And it works very well if you also going to put the management in an iterative level, making them also very useful in this kind of way of working.
Thank you, Rolf. Douwe. Rolf, you're raising your hand. You want to comment on it?
Just one very simple things. The first thing which works good in teams, if they have a common goal. So let's say if the management team would say to themselves, we would like to learn from each other's experience, that would be the good start. And the second thing which is needed from my point of view is time. They need to take time for looking at themselves. So there are 2 things I experience in teams, that if they have a goal and they take time to look regularly, where are they, how are we working together, those are 2 things which work on team level, and why shouldn't they work on management team level too?
Okay, I like that. I would extend it to 3. I'm raising my hand now. I'm going to offer my suggestion. I have 3 things, and the first is, it was mentioned before, values and purpose. They're in the same category. Something that unites the system instead of all the subsystems going at it for themselves. This has to be expressed all the time. As a CEO, you have to let people know all the time what is the purpose of the organization. How are we measuring people according to that purpose? this is often done badly in organizations where KPIs are being handed out to departments that measure them individually on their own in their own work, on their own territory. But then you get competition, obviously. So you should have KPIs, metrics, OKRs, whatever kind of system you prefer, that measure things across the whole value stream, as some people would say. And then at the highest level, in this case, it is the organization. That means the whole business model of the organization. So that's the one category. The other is at the personal level. I haven't heard people express that so far, but there's plenty of experts and gurus such as Patrick Lencioni who emphasize that people at the management team level also have to get to know each other personally. They have to go out, get out somewhere into the mountains, and for 2 days share their most intimate personal stories and all that kind of stuff. It seems to work. It helps people understand each other from another perspective, have more respect for each other. If marketing doesn't agree with finance, well, make sure that at least those men or women like each other, so that they have an incentive to understand each other's problems. Bye-bye. That was my cleaning lady. She wasn't vacuuming this time. That's nice. So at the personal level, they have to understand each other. And one interesting thing that I heard one CEO once did of a company was rotate them in their jobs, so that they become responsible for another person's department, and then they understand finally the problems that have to be solved in that on the other side of the fence, and that makes them much more collaborative suddenly. So that's the second category, and the third one is what Rolf has already expressed just now. So those were the ones that I came up with, but maybe I'm forgetting something. Could be. I'm not omniscient. Ankur, you have your own contribution there?
Yes, I just want to add one thing. What I observe is that when we discuss it with the management, when there's some gap in our organization, and we go back to the management and say that there is some gap in the decision. So generally what happens is that in our organization, the management decisions are very volatile. So, suddenly something comes up, and we have to respond in a similar manner. So when we discuss it with the management, they say that sometimes they are not aware that what is the reaction of the team because of the decision which the management have taken. So what we need to tell them is that this is the decision you have taken and this is the response of the team. So when we keep on telling them, the management, that this is the response of the team in against certain decision, then they are aware next time when they take any decision. So sometimes with the clock, it become one-sided, that we at the team level are getting frustrated because we are saying that management is not in line with the team, but actually what happens is that management is aware of the fact that what decision of their have made the team frustrated. So we have to communicate back to the management and said that this is what you have done wrong, and this is how the team is getting frustrated.
I like that. That is the feedback wrap applied back to management.
Yes. Yes,
this is what I've seen you do. This is how it made me feel. This is what we need as the organization. How can I make a request that, etc. So confront the managers with the impact, the consequences of their decisions. I like that one. Thank you, Ankur. Anyone else? It's 30 minutes already.
This is Tina in Gothenburg. I'm waving my hand, but you can't see me because it's dark up here.
Indeed, but go ahead. So share with us your thinking.
Just a minor thing, in addition to what you have already said, but I think also that the management, those people that you have there, should be persons without too much prestige that is really having this same goal to see why is this organization actually existing. Yeah, it's because we want to add value for our customers, and that we do through the project, or as you already have mentioned. But I think that the personality of the people in the management team are very, very important as well. And I think that if you don't have the right persons there, maybe you have a possibility to change it.
All right, indeed. So thank you for emphasizing that again. Alexis, you haven't had the microphone yet, so thank you for raising your hand. What's your input?
I would like to test the ideas on a sort of a real case. If I have a company where there's a sales organization that is organized in different years, and there's a product organization that is a global product organization. They build the product, and the salespeople are selling it all over the world. It can be a software, it can be anything, but take a software, for example. If I have a new product and the sales organization struggles to sell it because the people in charge of installing it have trouble to install it, what they will do? If they are measured on the sales numbers, they will obviously blame the product organization because they are not delivering a product that is a good quality enough. And it will go all over the whole organization to the top and go back in the product organization. How, with the input that we have now, how can we solve this problem? Where can we work?
Okay, anyone wants to comment on that? Ooh, it's eerily silent.
we can add that to the board for the next coffee session, Jürgen.
That's true.
We'll advise everybody to watch this video, and then we take that. How do we apply this in practice? With
yeah, that's a nice one. Douwe, you were raising your hand.
It's a nice move, Patrick. But I felt that it was really the question of the Rolf's question was really similar to this, because the fight between the managers at the highest level is not because they are not sharing the same goals. It's because they are measuring on different things, and they are in charge of a part of the thing. And when they see that they will fail, they are trying to find why. And if they think it's the product that is not good, they will blame the other one in charge of the product. So,
right. Yeah, so that is the disease, I think, that we see in many organizations. They might have a purpose and a goal. This is often not communicated well, by the way. Or an entirely different purpose is communicated. See Volkswagen, they had a nice purpose on their website about sustainability and responsibility and all that stuff. But the real purpose communicated by the CEO was to become bigger than Toyota. That was communicated internally all the time. So that was what people did. So purpose is a start, but it's not everything. If you then measure the different divisions on their own functionality, on their own turf, as I said, then yes, you get conflict. You get people protecting their own interests, competition instead of collaboration. So I think the measurements, the way you measure the organization, is crucial. And you can do it in all kinds of ways. You can have departments rating each other. You can have merit money systems at the organizational level, where you appreciate each other. Anything. I'm sure people have solutions for that. But the measurements are and often the attached bonuses at that level, they are crucial in solving this problem. And that is one area. I believe the other area, and it was also mentioned by Tina, is the personal level, people getting to know each other, personality, the people that you pick at that level, it makes a lot of difference. Rolf said there was another one, was the iterations, the reflection. is often missing at that level. People have suggested many times that we need Kanban or Scrum kind of practices at the board level, at the management team level as well. It is often missing there. They push Agile into the organization, but they have not a similar short cadence of learning and reflection at the top of the organization. Well, I like the input of Encore to give them proper feedback, to tell them these are the decisions that you made. This is how we suffer now. Be honest and open and hold up a mirror. Those are the responses that I heard so far, Rolf. Does that somehow in some way address your question?
Yes, somehow in some way it's fine. And I like
good. Thank you so much.
Feedback wrap exactly like
being agreeable there. Otherwise, we had to do this all over again from the start.
Okay, thanks very much.
Thank you too. That was it. I would like to draw to a close here. Thank you so much for joining. Everyone contributed. That is really cool. Ankur and Durgesh from India. Ankur is also from India, right?
Yes.
Indeed. And Catherine from Ukraine. Alexis called from France, and Douwe from the Netherlands. Rolf was from Germany, and Patrick is in Spain. Thank you, Patrick, for organizing this. We will do that again. Tell me, when? Is it in 2 weeks or something?
In 2 weeks.
In 2 weeks.
The intent is to run this for every second week for the next coming 3 months. And see how well we're doing. If people are interested and people keep on showing up, then we continue. If the frequency is too high, we'll reduce a little. And if it's not high enough, then we might figure out how to do this more often. But for the moment, the idea is to do this once every 2 weeks. So
okay.
Be prepared.
Means we have a 2-week feedback cycle.
Yes,
perfect.
Next week we'll send out the message for the voting board again. I'll make sure that the Trello board gets announced.
Yep. All right. Perfect. Well, first, this video will be up. Patrick will be organizing that, and he will share it with all the other members who were not able to join us. And then we start voting for the next question. So thanks everyone for joining. Thank you for watching, and hope to see some of you in 2 weeks' time.
Thank you very much.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.